Action, activate.
What's going on? I am Gazbot. This is Action Activate, and with me, as always,
Big Dawg Defender here.
Big Dawg Defender.
Roll with you guys.
Did you say Big Dawg Defender?
No, I said Big Dawg Defender, but then it kind of like cut out.
Big Dawg Defender. Well, thanks for being with us. We see in chat we got Matt Kendall Clare, Iron Cenas P-Man. Hello to you both. Welcome to our party extravaganza on the way out. But something's wrong. Just you and me. That's not enough for a farewell Twitch extravaganza party. We need more.
That's
we
true.
need some kind of big. We need like a monster guest. What do you think? Can we do something with this?
I really hope that it doesn't make anyone blue because they're already blue enough for the both of us.
Oh,
let's introduce the
Ninja
man
Steel
himself.
Ninja Steel points to both of you. Thank you.
it's Steve Andreno, the real Baboo. Welcome, sir.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Some know him as Mayor Baboo.
Mayor Baboo,
of
of course.
recent Action Activates.
Welcome,
Reining us in with his.
Yes. It's been a while since you've been on. You were like one of our earliest shows. You were like one of our first interviews and one of our earliest shows. And now that we're switching off of Twitch for the most part and going to YouTube, you're kind of helping us end cap it. So I think that's kind of cool.
Right. Well, that's okay. I've been part of quite a few companies that have kind of went out of business right after I stopped working for them. So I thought it was kind of appropriate.
Well, to be clear, we're not
having me on too.
We're not going out of business. The show is going to continue
I
on YouTube. We're just not going to be on Twitch as much. But we are on Twitch now. If you're watching us on YouTube later, thank you very much. But if you're here live on Twitch, you can chat with us. You can ask questions to us or Steve, whatever you like. And let me check. There is a chat real quick. Iron Steve's Pyramid said, I would vote for Baboo as mayor. Probably better than what we have here in the UK. I would say in the US as well. Pretty much any politician can be replaced by Mayor Baboo. So this is a free-for-all. It's a Q&A. I got a couple topics and things that we could start. But if either of you guys have anything you feel especially passionate you want to start talking about, throw it out there. Otherwise, I'll take over. Okay.
I'll let.
All right.
I was going to say I'll let our guest take over.
Okay. You got something, Steve?
I get to start. Okay.
Sure. If you got something.
All right.
Your eyes look like they're glowing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to adjust the glasses so I don't get the glare.
I kind of like it. It fits the whole,
Yeah, I'm getting a Riddick vibe from like Pitch Black. Right now.
I'll buy that.
This is the new monster.
I guess I got to show off the guns a little bit.
Oh wow! I didn't buy the tickets. I shouldn't be allowed to the gun show.
We just got age restricted right there.
Well, so
okay.
Steve,
yes.
you were about to say something other than you have huge muscles.
I was thinking about what to say other than that I have huge muscles, which I don't. I like to talk about that, and they're like blanks. They look good, but they don't do anything.
Oh, so they're all show no go.
Exactly. Kind of like the character, and that's the funny that when I'll tell people when I start a new job, I don't walk in. Oh, by the way, I was Baboo. I'll get to know people first, and as we start talking about stuff, and I'll kind of drop, oh, I did that, and they'll kind of do the double take. And the first question is, well, did you fight? And I'm like, no, God, no, I didn't have to fight. So yeah, I don't have a martial arts background. I don't have the
Right.
I do physical work, but I'm not I watch what I eat and do only this many calories and run 5 miles a day. No, not happening.
But I wouldn't want to arm wrestle you though. I'm pretty sure you could beat me pretty easily.
Yeah.
Because I move a pencil, you move heavy things. So
True. True. Okay. I move levers that move everything. So
I'm still the pencil weighs very little. I don't know if you've ever held a pencil. Even the plastic one I use for my Cintiq, it's quite light.
The pen is less mighty than the sword in this case.
True.
But nothing beats a gun. We all know that.
That's also true.
Beast Morphers top
Well,
down.
you know what? Let me. I'll go ahead and jump in with a thing, just real quick. Me and the Big Dog talk about Beast Morphers constantly. I mean, we talk Power Rangers, but especially Beast Morphers. Steve, do you have any hot takes on Beast Morphers? How much have you been watching it? What do you think of the season as a whole? Do you have an opinion on it at all that you'd like to share?
I really watch it through you guys, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, I watched an episode or two, and then I realized it's more fun watching your reactions to it. To
Well, that's
kind of
very
watch
flattering.
I mean that. I like the Ben and Betty trying to be the Bulk and Skull kind of thing. I agree. Sometimes they go a little too far.
Right.
There seems to be a lot more character arcs
Yes.
in many of the newer seasons, as opposed to, Mighty Morphin. There wasn't really any character arc. It was just go out there and have some fights and do some stuff.
Right.
So I do appreciate that more as an actor as well as just a fan watching it.
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree. Some seasons do it better than others, but this one, especially as we talked about with Ravi, who Big Dog hated, and now is like, well, he's pretty
Yes.
good. Yeah.
I mean, I like where they've gone with. I like where they've gone with Blaze and Roxy, having them good but still having the evil one. I mean, that was a good twist.
I did not see that coming. I definitely thought it would be one or the other. So that I agree, that is a good twist.
Yep.
Well, those are some good hot takes from Baboo himself on the current season.
Oh, there we go.
Mayor Baboo, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not only would I be a better mayor, I probably would be a better dad than Evox and
that mayor, yeah.
Yes.
True.
That I would love to see somebody write a fan fiction of Mayor Baboo and Mayor Evox having a political debate.
That would be fantastic.
But in disguise. So they're evil, but just seeing them do their best to be public facing, I think would be awesome.
I think that would be awesome too.
That would be fun.
On my feed, Steve, we could hear you, but you're frozen. I don't know if that's just what I'm seeing or if what everyone's seeing.
I don't know. I was looking at the Discord.
Oh, there you go. Now you look good.
There we go.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it just froze up for a minute.
Okay, no, you're good.
We mentioned Evox, and here he comes. There you go.
See that? You're exactly right. In chat, Matt Kendall Clare says the reactions are fun, especially when they argue. Oh, he's talking about us. I thought you meant the mayors. Well, thanks, Matt. All right. Well, so Big Dog, you got something you want to throw out there?
I was just gonna bring up. I know Hasbro Power Rangers posted recently that all of the different seasons are on Netflix to binge watch, and I was gonna ask you guys, with where you're at now in Power Rangers as a whole, or if there was one you were gonna go back to, what you would binge watch overall, like if you picked one season.
Well, I'll go first, so you have a chance to think, Steve, because I know my answer already. I'm finishing up Dino Thunder, so that's the easy answer. But if I wasn't finishing up Dino Thunder and I wasn't worried about finishing those seasons I hadn't seen, I was just going to go back to one. It would either be Zeo or Samurai. I've watched both of those. Samurai because, like I said, I have this special place in my heart for it, but I haven't watched it since I first watched it, and I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious how well it would hold up to the memory I have of it. I mean, I did watch the Christmas episode when we did the Christmas thing, but that's not the same. And Zeo because I only watched it once, and it was a couple years ago, and I remember Mighty Morphin pretty well. I remember Turbo pretty well, but of those early seasons, Zeo is the one that it's not like I don't remember it at all, but I remember it the least. So that would be the one I'd want to go back and refresh myself on if I was going to an older one.
For me, more based on who people I've met at some of the shows. I want to watch Dino Charge. I want to go because of having met Brendan Mejia, James Davey. That's kind of the one I would go to first.
I would, for the new stuff, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was going to go a little older, it would probably be In Space. Power Rangers In Space.
Nice.
Another good pick.
Good call.
What about you, Big Dog?
I know for me, honestly, just to put kind of the rumors and speculation to rest, I would probably finish Overdrive just to say I had officially watched it. There was no more, maybe he loves it, maybe he hates it. I would have definitive fact-based feelings and answers.
That the few episodes you've watched that made you love it, you could watch the rest and just finally we know 100% you love all of it.
Close. The few episodes I've watched have given me such an emotional response no other season's given me. How about that? That's a more
Sure.
fair
Yeah,
interpretation.
no, I mean we know exactly
Operation Overdrive is my
Mhm.
favorite season.
how you feel about it. I mean, it's on record.
I'm really regretting this. Two other people getting to talk about Overdrive, but no.
I know you don't want to
that's what I would
share.
pick
You
for
don't want to share your favorite.
Yeah, I'm just so
Yeah.
shy.
That
I'm
would be
a reserved.
okay. Well, if it wasn't Overdrive, what would be the other one you would check out?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is so that one I officially haven't finished. There's a couple other seasons like Mystic Force I'd like to watch in its entirety that I didn't from the get go. But if I wanted to go back, I think I'd probably agree with Steve and go to In Space just because there's so much fan service in that season that
It
like
is a good
being
season.
able to see the end of the Zordon era and get to see a Turbo Ranger, actually multiple Turbo Rangers come back,
Yeah.
and see the team crossover again.
Yeah.
See, Trey Triforia and Blue Centurion and stuff like that would be really cool.
Phantom Ranger.
Well, that's who I was thinking also, and I think the Alien Rangers were in it toward the end as well, if I remember correctly.
That sound maybe unmorphed.
I think they were morphed, but only in like the final.
Oh, in the final battle, there's just a
Oh.
quick scene of them. Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, those good answers, guys. Good answers.
That's all I could think of though.
In chat, Iron CNSP Man says Evox didn't freeze my computer for this debate. Dart's eyes. Matt Kendall-Claire, good one, Iron CSP Man. And then Matt Kendall says, funny how Kelson was Norg in Overdrive. I don't know if I knew that. Was he the voice or the suit or both or?
Probably both.
Okay, yeah, he gets around. He definitely does. It's funny because I retroactively know that Kelson has been in so much stuff, but I knew him first from Ninja Steel, which isn't one of my favorite seasons, but he was my favorite character in it as the mentored Mick. And I was like, yeah, I kind of, whatever it is about, there's something about this guy, like this actor, like has a charisma that I like. And then later it was like, oh, apparently he's like a staple in Power Rangers, so that makes sense. Cool. Let me see. Oh, by the way, and anybody in chat, if you want to, again, throw out questions or topics you want us to talk about, feel free.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Steve, you got anything? Otherwise, I got another thing I could throw out.
Well, I got something I may throw out. I'll run it by you and see if it's something we should throw out. Or it's kind of hard.
It's gonna be
doing it off the cuff.
awkward. Yeah, it's gonna be awkward if I say no, and then.
Well, because I can kind of covertly. I had pitched an idea to you a while ago when we were when they were on hiatus. I don't know if that's something you wanted to dive into now, or that's something we need to do really some more research for and do that after the season ends.
Well, I'll tell you this: that pitch is something that could be a whole episode in and of itself. Doesn't have to be. I kind of had a feeling you were gonna say that, and so if you look at, let me see if you look at the Twitch feed. I just pulled up an article that will make it a lot easier and did most of the research for us.
Okay.
What Steve had talked about was maybe doing a hiatus episode of the most successful Power Ranger actors, like post Power Rangers. And in my mind, Rose McIver was the first one that came to mind as like being probably the most successful. But there's a lot of others, obviously. So I think if we're okay just kind of using this list to discuss it, we could just go through that now. But before we do that real quick, Iron CS. Matt Kendall-Claire says Kelson was both the voice and the suit actor, so that's cool. And Iron CS Command says that's not really a Ninja Steel.
I got it right.
You took a guess.
Right on a guess.
You took a guess, knowing that Matt Kendall-Claire would do the research for you.
I took a shot in the dark, and the virus.
You stood on the shoulders of giants, is what you did, sir.
Silence.
Like
Words
any good
have
scientist.
No meaning.
Iron CSP Man says, so in Japan there was a Kamen Rider stage musical, and if they get the stunt team from that, this new Power Ranger stage show will be fun. Agreed. Although, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they would come from Japan to be the American. Who knows? But there are obviously some Japanese stunt people that come over here, so I agree. If that happens, it will be great. I probably won't be able to go see it, but I will definitely try to get I was gonna say a VHS of it, but that won't exist. I'll try to find a copy that I can see somehow. But getting back to the quote-unquote most successful Power Rangers, and that's a very subjective term, because who knows what success is, whatever. But according to this list, there's 15. Do we want to try to guess who's on it, or who, like, the top ones are kind of not that hard to guess. The lower ones are a little bit more difficult.
just so I know, what's the
Yes.
criteria of success? Meaning they're in other
I
properties
think, yeah,
outside
I
of
think
Power
it's
Rangers?
basically it's about other acting properties, not how much money they made or how good their family is or if they opened a bakery or any other thing that could make them a success. But it's mostly about acting beyond Power Rangers.
I
For
have
me, there's a,
3. Oh, go for it.
I would say for me, it would be being a regular on a very popular show or
Sure.
being a lead character in a movie.
Right.
Yep.
Big screen, of course, bigger than, Hallmark movies, because I know we've got quite a few of those on there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, oh, that's weird. The one I thought of didn't have a picture for some reason.
I have 3 guesses of who's on this list.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cheat one because this is the one I already said and I've already seen the list, so I can't play as much as you guys can.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me put it on the screen real quick. Number 2 on the list is Rose McIver, who I thought would be
number
number
2.
1. Number 2.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was in Power Rangers RPM, and then there's no picture, but she went on to be the lead in iZombie, and that show ran for a few years, and so that's pretty successful.
Mhm.
And she just announced that she's doing another show, which I forget what it's called. Does it say it on here? No, but she did a few other things as well. She was Tinkerbell on ABC on Once Upon a Time, and she had a couple.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, she did a
Yes.
few things like that. But being the main character in iZombie for several seasons, that's the big one. But she because I follow her on Instagram and I forget what she said, but she's like, well, it was sort of like iZombie's over, and then like the next day she's like, I'm in this new show, and I can't remember what it is. But between those two,
Yeah.
I would have picked her for number 1, but she is number 2. So, one of you said you had a guess.
I have
Go
a
ahead, Big
guess.
Dog.
Okay, Big Dog.
I don't remember all the actresses' names,
Mhm.
but I would say Jungle Fury White, the Rhino Ranger, I think will be on this
Oh.
list as well.
Nikolai something.
Yep.
I met him too. I can't remember his last name. That is a good guess. I'm looking on the list. He's not on the list.
Oh,
And I'll tell you,
I've seen him in at least 2 things. That's why.
yeah, he was in Daredevil, right?
Yeah, and he was in Mile 22, the
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg movie.
And he's in a new movie with or something else too. Yeah, that would have been a good guess. I'm surprised he's not on here, but he is not on here.
Okay.
All right,
Steve,
well,
you got
I
a guess?
failed. Steve's turn.
Archie Kao.
Archie Kao, I'm looking. You want to tell us who he was on Power Rangers for those that don't know?
I gotta look it up again, but I know he went on to do. Who's a regular character on CSI, but I know he was
Okay.
on Power Rangers as well too.
You are correct. He is on the list.
Oh,
Number 7, Archie Kao. He was Blue
Okay.
Ranger from Lost Galaxy, Kai.
Okay.
And then he went on
nice.
to work on CSI and a few other things. But yeah, from the show's 12th, from the second season until the show's 12th. So 10 seasons, if I did the math right there.
Yeah.
So, well, that is a big Ninja Steel point for you. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
You got to trust the honor system with me. The next person I thought of before I looked at the list was Eka Darville, again from RPM.
Yeah.
And he is on the list. Let me pull him up here. He is number 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. Number 5. He was RPM Red, but I know he was in a few things, but specifically he was in Daredevil. I'm sorry, not Daredevil. Jessica Jones, and then he got to be in Defenders. And again, he's been in a bunch of other things too, but that was the big one because that was also when those Netflix shows were red hot. I know now people aren't talking about him as much, but he was like he wasn't the lead, but he was a main character, and so I was like that he jumped to my mind. So he is on the list at number 5. So
right.
back to Big
I got
Dog.
another guess.
Okay.
Michael Copone.
Oh, Time Force Blue. That is a good guess. I don't think he's on here. Let me look.
He was the Scorpion King.
I know.
He was the young Scorpion King.
I question the validity of this list. I gotta say that's what we're not making the list. This is just what they put. And no, he is not on the list. I'm sorry. I think
anybody I guess isn't on the list, so I shouldn't guess anyone.
I think both of those people should have been on the list. I think you're absolutely right. Let me check chat real quick.
Yeah.
Iron Seniors P Man says I will guess Benta, as he's done a few British TV shows, and Johnny Young Bosch. Oh, Benta from Operation Overdrive. Well, I will say that he is not on the list. Maybe they're not counting British stuff, and I'm only doing that because I didn't think either of you were going to guess Benta.
Right.
I mean, I know Alex wanted to, but he is not on the list. Johnny Young Bosch, I will not comment on yet because one of you two might vote for him or guess him.
Yep.
And then Iron Cenas P Man said Emma Lahana, I believe is how you say it, did a Marvel
Oh,
show.
from Dino Thunder. She was
Okay.
on Cloak and Dagger.
Okay,
One
well
of the
again,
Alpha.
I'm not going to comment on that in case one of you guys were going to guess it. But all of them will be revealed at the end. So is it Steve? Did
Yeah,
you?
I've got another one.
Yeah.
Anna Hutchinson she was in Cabin in the Woods.
And Jungle Fury.
Yes, she
Good,
was.
good guess. And she is not on this list. I think this list sucks.
This is no. I'm done with
No.
this list. If she's
No,
not on
there's
the
no
list,
way.
I'm done.
There's no
She's
way.
not on the
I'm
list.
over. I'm over the. It's over.
It's a bad
We're done.
list. It's a bad list. All right. Do we want to just stop right now?
Yep. Read through really quick
Okay.
on whatever they think is success, and then we're moving on to
Okay,
the next one.
I'll bring up the news full screen. Yeah, this is not a great list. Which is why we should have. This could be his own show still. Number 15, Karen Ashley. And I don't know when this came out, but one of the things they cite is the fact that she did The Order, which has yet to come out. So that might not have been featured so prominently. 14, Walter Jones. Again, nothing against any of these people, but like I don't think of them as having done as much as some of the other people we've mentioned.
Not really.
Patricia,
Some were right after Power Rangers. Like Walter Jones was in the Disney movie Brink.
I think
other stuff too.
Yeah. Patricia Jolly, I think is how you say her name, from was she from In Space? And then she went on to be on a show. She was the voice in Resident Evil and Final Fantasy. She does a lot of voice acting, it looks like. Then number 12, this one got me. Aloma Wright. I know her from Scrubs. She was the nurse in Scrubs, and I was like, who was she in Power Rangers? She ran the like the surf bar in space, but they only had that in like the first couple episodes, so I kind of forgot all about it. Number 11, Nakia Burris. She actually has done a lot of stuff. When I interviewed her, she's the kind of person that's been in like one episode of a ton of big shows, and she's done some YouTube stuff. So she's either like the one-off actor in a big show or the bigger actor in a small show. So this one kind of makes sense to me. Number 10, Johnny Young Bosch. Yes, and mainly for his voice acting, because he's a very well-known voice actor for those that don't know. And then
I might still have a guess for number 1. So as you're going through, if I don't hear it, I'm gonna.
I won't say number 1. When we get to number 1, I'll stop.
Okay.
And I think my guess is the same as yours, Steve.
Let me check. I think we might all have the same guess, to be honest. Let me see. Cloak and Dagger. So we weren't right to Benta. Oh, Iron Steve said Benta may not have had big British roles, but he still did more than Walter and Karen. Yeah, like we all agree this list is not very good. Then Mac and Claire said Adele the Surf Spot Lady. Yep, exactly. That's who she was. So then getting back to the list, number 9, Richard Steven Horowitz, who did the voice of Alpha 5, and I think this is another example where he is a prolific voice actor. He worked on Billy and Mandy and a bunch of other stuff. So he's certainly successful, but we wouldn't have known that necessarily. This is a big one that I wouldn't have guessed. Number 8, Alex Borstein. She does a ton of voices for like Family Guy and all that stuff, but I guess she had done some voices on Power Rangers, which I didn't even know. And she was on Gilmore Girls, and so the voice acting is kind of a sneaky one there, where you don't necessarily get it. Number 7, we said Archie Cow. Number 6, Brandon J. McLaren. He was SPD Red.
SPD Red.
Okay, is he the guy that's on Discovery?
That's who I was thinking it might have been.
Maybe.
He was in it was a USA show called Graceland. It was on for a few years. He was one of the characters. He was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, okay. He was in Smallville briefly, it says. Chicago Fire. He's been on a lot of stuff. I know somebody from SPD is on Star Trek Discovery. It might be him, but
I think it's Blue.
Oh, I think you're right, because somebody said Blue. Yeah, okay, so it's not him. But Blue is not on the list, so it doesn't matter. Number 5, Eka Darville, I already mentioned. Number 4, Jason David Frank. Now, this is a tough one, because in terms of Power Rangers, certainly he's been the most successful. He's been in more episodes than anybody. He's come back so many times. He's super popular, all that stuff. But then they mention his martial arts studios, which are all successful. And again,
Rising Sun Karate.
Right. Yeah. And I don't disagree that that's a mark of success and happiness and all that stuff. But everyone else, they were like, this is the acting they've done. And with him, they're like, he acted on Power Rangers a lot. Plus, he's a martial artist. So it seems like he was measured with a different stick than everyone else. So
agreed.
Then number 3. Oh, you want to take a guess at number 3?
I have a guess for top 4.
What'd you say, Big Dog?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I have a guess of somebody within the top 4.
Well, we know number 2 is Rose McIver. So 3 and 1 are the only spots left.
Amy Jo Johnson's one of those.
You are correct. Amy Jo Johnson is
number 3.
Yes!
Finally!
Let's check chat real quick for Iron Scene Spearman. I'm sorry, guys. The YouTube comments will probably suck due to the actor from Overdrive. No, it's that's fine. I'm not worried about that. Amy Jo Johnson. Yeah, what was the show she was on?
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint. There was another one too, like
Felicity.
Felicity.
She was on Felicity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was on Felicity. I
and
forgot.
she just made her own movie as like a director writer. So that
Actually, she did the first ever VH1 produced movie where she was a lead singer, and I believe it was called Sweetwater.
Oh, there you go. So should she be number 2? I don't know, but she definitely should be on the list. So she
definitely should be high on the list.
There was also Susie Q in the 90s.
Yes.
Who is Susie Q?
Susie Q was either a Disney movie or a kids movie where she was in a car accident in the 50s, came back and haunted somebody, and then like eventually was either brought back to life or at peace. I don't remember.
Gotcha. Number 2 is Rose McIver, as we said. Number 1. Okay.
Okay, I have.
So
Big Dog guess first.
Do we want to say it at the same time? Do we want to do 1, 2, 3, and I'll say it?
I don't know anymore who it's gonna be.
I think I do.
I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3. After 3, say your guess. 1, 2, 3. Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Big Dog?
I had nobody because I wasn't gonna count him, and I totally forgot.
Why were you not gonna count him?
Because I was thinking of like Rangers. He's the only non-Ranger on the list.
That's not true. There were voice actors.
There was Alpha on the list.
Yeah, there's lots of non-Rangers.
I forgot.
All right, well, you were wrong. It is Bryan Cranston.
Yes,
because he voiced some monsters, then he went on to Malcolm in the Middle, then he went to Breaking Bad, and then he came back as Zordon. So clearly,
and then Billy Cranston is named after him. I know. I know.
Yeah. So that's you failed. You failed miserably there.
I actually, fun fact, big dog fact. I'm wearing my 2017 Power Rangers pajama pants right now, just to be on.
Good job. I'm wearing my Ameritoku shirt that has all the American 90s Toku shows.
I thought about wearing that to match you, but I just got an old PMC shirt going on right here.
That's fine. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one. But yeah, I do think this list is not very good.
Yeah, it's a bad list.
So there are people that are missing from it, and the order is a little bit weird. There's another. Oh, you know who else should be on here? Erin Cahill from Time Force.
Yeah.
Because she's done a lot of stuff, and a lot of them are like Hallmark movies, but she's done a lot of them. And she's in commercials all the time. Like I see her all over. She was in. I've been rewatching How I Met Your Mother. And
I was gonna say it's Ted's sister.
Ted's sister, yeah. And you know what's funny is she's Ted's sister, and there's a couple episodes where the kids were playing with Power Rangers figures and stuff. I've noticed a lot of Power Ranger things. I feel like somebody that works on that show likes Power Rangers, because aside from casting her, there's been a few little things like that throughout. Yeah. So yeah. All right, well, cool. That was not the definitive list that maybe it could have been, but it was fun to go through and be unhappy about it.
If there's anybody that you guys feel should have been included and what they did, put it in the YouTube comments.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I heard something on the other side of the room. Squirrel? I have more things I could throw out. Does somebody else have something they want to throw out? But actually, that was just Steve. So, Big Dog, you got something?
Let's see.
No. Okay. Think about it for next time. You're like the person. Look, if we're playing Scrabble, think about your move while I'm going. I don't want it to be your turn and then you start thinking.
I was so derailed by not getting any right. The only thing I could say is what with Hasbro being in full control of Power Ranger stuff now. What is your one wish list item that you hope they make?
Steve, why don't you go first? Because I think I know what yours is.
You have to have. But now here's the thing. Now that we have an upcoming 2-villain 2-pack,
right?
Yeah.
The next logical one would be Squat and Baboo.
It would be.
I'm just saying.
But I'm betting they're going to do something like it's going to be Baboo and Goldar and Squat and a Putty or something like that, because they love making us buy the same figure. Yeah. Although actually putties wouldn't bother me as much because you could army build
I was going to say, you're going to get different putties, which I would also get. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Actually, I'm going to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
To leave myself out of it, because it was one of the original monsters, and to this day, I don't think anybody can still explain why. King Sphinx.
Yeah. I was thinking that before you said it, of like, he was on so much like memorabilia for that one episode about bench pressing.
I think it must have been my guess is they knew like the first 8 episodes or whatever what monsters were going to be in them before the show was even made, and they're like, these are the monsters, make stuff. And he looked cool, so a lot of stuff got made by him. Because I remember seeing a little bit of Pudgy Pig as well, who was not as cool, but even he got a few things just because.
Yeah.
Pudgy was so cool for one reason, and I'll give you a chance to pull up a picture of it if you can.
Okay, go ahead. I think I know what it is, but
The costume. The costume itself was the arms came out of the mouth, and besides that, you could actually see the hands of the actor underneath the arm because it had the hoof ends, but he had to hold swords and stuff, so you can actually see the hands.
Oh yeah.
It was such a goofy costume. At first, I thought it was the most ridiculous costume. The more I go back and look at it, I absolutely think it's hysterical. I love it.
You know what? You just made me realize something, Steve. I just thought of that episode again, and I was like, what did they use to beat the monster? They used hot radishes, and I'm like, I don't like radishes, and I usually don't eat radishes, and I honestly think it's because Power Rangers drilled in my head. It's like radishes are bad. We use it to beat the monster, and I think that's honestly why I haven't. I just had the weirdest shattered glass moment because of that.
Wow. I'm having a real hard time. For some reason, I keep finding videos and like blog posts. I'm having a hard time just finding a still image. But
I even thought that was silly. This is a monster that's going to eat all the food in the world except for the hot food. I can't handle the hot food.
Yeah.
You know, if they gave him syrup of Ipecac, and of course I'm sure 99% of people watching would have known what that was.
I do. It's something you put into a first aid kit, and it makes you vomit if you had poison that you need to get out. Yeah. But I thought you were going to say your reason was much more interesting and more like production related. I thought you were going to say because he was able to eat all of their power weapons and get their power weapons away from him, so like more story driven or whatever.
Well, I mean that too, but then like I just again the early shows were so camp with just well, he's going to eat the weapons. How do we get him back? Oh, I know, he doesn't like hot food. We'll throw him a sandwich that's got hot stuff. All the weapons just this, in reverse, everything shoots out of him.
In chat, let's see. Iron CSP Man, this is going back to the more successful Rangers. Same with Dan Southward, and if we're counting extra, the guy who voices I think Dante in Devil May Cry was on the show and was a stunt actor for the show. Okay, yeah. Dan Southward, I think, does a lot of voice acting is what he's referring to. Erzuki says
he does a lot of extra work too, or stunt work.
Yeah. Erzuki says Gaz knows anything to do with vomiting. He's a big vomit fan. That's true. That is true. So,
Cheddar goblins.
Cheddar goblins. What was the question? Oh, so you would want a Baboo figure, but if not, then you would want a King Sphinx figure, is what you're saying.
Just because it harkens back to the original figure.
Fair. Yeah. Well, I also would love a Baboo figure, but I will put that to the side. And my second answer would be something that I've said before, probably a Shogun Megazord that is, it can't be in the Legacy line because that doesn't exist, but something that is of that caliber, an expensive, partially metal, large Shogun Megazord, because it's the only one we didn't get, and I want it. I love that design and I want it, but I'm not going to build a little mini plow model, and I could get the vintage one, but I want Hasbro to make a new one.
What do you have against mini plow, guys?
I don't have anything against them. I think they look really good. They're a little expensive, but a Legacy would be expensive too. They're small, so they wouldn't be in scale with what I have. But the bigger thing is that they're very difficult and time consuming to build. And I know I don't have that time, so I don't like to buy things that I won't build, unlike my co-host that has two that he's had for years that hasn't finished building and is talking about buying more like a fool.
If you guys want to know kind of the core root of this conversation, go back to the last news episode and take a gander there.
Yeah, it began there. Big Dog, did you answer your own question?
I did not yet. Okay. So obviously there's a lot of options in play. We just saw that there's a Dragon Dad. We haven't really seen a Morpher from them outside of the current Beast Morpher season. But I think kind of no holds bar going in with whatever we want. I think it would be awesome if we got an in-space Megazord, because it's kind of like Hasbro's bread and butter. The in-space Megazord is as close to a regular Transformer than any Megazord they've done. So if they did a masterpiece quality in-space Megazord, like you said, with die cast, no sticker, that would be awesome. And that, I think, is their first way that they can kind of test out kind of masterpiece Megazords without having to do parts forming or combiners like
And
some of the other bots they've had to do.
That's a good. Well, here's the thing. I think that's a good prediction guess because it plays to their strengths of knowing how to do Transformers. It's a very popular season and a popular Megazord. But are you saying this is what you think it'll be, or is that like what you want it to be?
I would want it, and also part of the reason for that is I loved that Megazord. I love that season, and
Right.
as a collector, for anybody that tries to get in space Megazords,
Yeah.
you can find the Astro Megaship.
I
You
have
can
the Astro
never
Megaship.
find the accessories or the shuttle. I happily found the shuttle one time. Once.
The shuttle is
Gazbot
the head.
didn't get it.
No.
Yeah.
The shuttle is the
Gazbot
head.
didn't get it. I got it, though.
That's true. I have the ship, and I think Big Dog helped me find it for like $1. And so I have
That
the
was
ship,
super cheap.
but it's just the ship, and it can never be the Megazord. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
for $1, I'll take the ship. I think everything you're saying is correct, and I would want it, and I think it's a good move, but I still would rather have the Shogun Megazord to finish out that set. Like, I can live
I
without.
have a Shogun. That's why I'm kind of.
And I have the
I'm
Build-A-Figure.
on a different page
All
than
right,
you.
whatever. Let's move on.
I have the Build-A-Figure too, but not to scale.
All right, so I guess it's my turn to come up with something. Let me see. I have several. Let me think. Oh, actually, this is something a little bit mostly directed at you, Steve.
Okay.
I recently did an interview with Campbell Cooley, who is doing voices for Power Rangers currently, does Scrozzle, among other things.
Yes.
And we talked a lot about voice work, and he said in addition to doing voices, he would often direct ADR and things like that. And it occurred to me that you were the suit actor. You didn't get to do a lot of voice stuff for Baboo, but I didn't know if you ever did any ADR because he said a lot of times people on the set, they just pull whoever to do crowd scenes, things like that. So did you get to do anything like that?
No, don't forget, because I was always going to be in makeup if I was there too.
True. Okay. Well, have you ever done any kind of voiceover stuff at all, or just theater and?
On theater, but voiceover for even stuff on YouTube type videos or any. No, unfortunately not.
Well, you should.
Something I started to explore, started to put together a tape to try to send out there, and just this was right about the end of Rangers, and because of where my life went right after season 3 wrapped, it just kind of
never happened.
For people that didn't watch the original interview, or I don't even remember if I talked about this specifically.
I think you did.
The way I got out of Rangers. Season 3 ended. Last day I shot was September 14th. I eloped to Las Vegas and got married on October 13th. So a month later, I was gone. And the reason for that was my wife was trying to break into the industry. I was trying to break into the industry. Obviously, got a little ways with being the suit actor for Baboo, but just not as far, as fast, as financially viable as we wanted. And we both kind of looked at each other and made a life decision and said the reason we were in acting was to meet each other.
Fair. I mean, that's a pretty good win. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, 25 years later.
Yeah. Well done.
Ninja Steel point to you.
Oh yeah,
Major
now,
Ninja Steel point.
Both of you guys.
Would I have wanted both, but would I have wanted the career? Of course.
Yes, sure. Who wouldn't? But it's not like you didn't get something out of it. So
exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Going back to chat, talking about the Hasbro thing, Matt Kendall Clare says, I'm sorry, Iron Scenus P-Man says Dino Thunder White Megazord would be cool. I agree. I prefer that Megazord to the Hero Megazord, actually. Matt Kendall Clare said the Astro Megazord is pretty good, so he's agreeing with Big Dog. Iron Scenus P-Man says Masterpiece are made for the Asia market, but they import them here because they have them, so they might not do Masterpiece Megazords. Well, yes, but there is a market here. Like they do some Masterpiece of Transformers for the American market as well. They sometimes import them from there, but they sometimes market them directly here, even if it's the exact same toy. And that's what they did when they were doing the Legacy line. Is that it would be Daizujin, and then it would come here and it'd be Dino Megazord. So they, even though it's not Bandai, they still could do something like that. Arazuki says, "Oh my God, I love that story for Steve," and you get some heart cat emojis. So you're pulling heartstrings out there.
I do my best.
Well job, sir. Okay, let me see.
Well job, very love.
Okay, here's another just a goofy Power Rangers question. Power Rangers in the comics crossed over with Justice League a little while ago, and currently they're crossing over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
What other franchise, superhero team, whatever, would you like to see them cross over with? And I'll go to Big Dog first because I feel like he's probably thought about this before.
So the first one I thought of, if you're are we talking Mighty Morphin, I assume?
Mighty Morphin is one everyone always goes to, but if you have a different like way you want to go with it, feel free. I mean, it's all fantasy, you know.
So the first thing I thought of as you didn't even finish the question was it the Mighty Morphin Rangers teamed up with the Teen Titans. I think that would be really cool.
Okay.
Obviously, all of them are teenagers. There's a
can see
lot
that.
of overlap of people wanting to be a little more dominant, other people trying to be team players and stuff. Like I could see Cyborg and Billy getting along, Robin
yeah.
and Tommy or Jason maybe butting heads, and then Zach kind of being there with Aqualad or somebody or Beast Boy and just chilling. So I think that would be kind of cool. If you were to branch into other seasons, I want to come back to that because I need to think about that one of who I would want, which team, and kind of what.
All right, Steve, you got one, or you want me to go first?
I do have one actually, just for kind of the matchup with having the 5 Rangers and the 5 Battle of the Planets, G-Force.
Oh, cool. That is a good one. That is very good. Also known as Gotchaman, also known as there's another name for it too. I can't remember. Because in the American market, it had like 3 different names: G-Force, Battle of the Planets, and one other. It's what is it? Ninja Science Team, I think, is like the subheader in Japan. For those that don't know, it's sort of bird-themed superheroes, very Power Ranger, kind of like Jetman. If you've ever seen the Sentai Jetman.
Yeah.
And there's 5 of them. That's a good pull. I would not have thought about that. That I think that would be the winner, to be honest. As far as like compatibility, that's a really good one there. And even their villains are so much like Power Ranger Sentai villains too, like with the over-the-top capes and everything. I'm gonna wait until one of you guys go, and I'll try to pull up a picture to show people that don't know. I would say if we're going with Mighty Morphin, I was gonna say Ultraman, which now is getting a Marvel comic. And I know theoretically Ultraman is a Japanese property, and so is Power Rangers originally, but that's not why I was doing it. I love the idea of the Rangers like meeting up with the Super Science Search Patrol team and like dealing with them as like kind of like the Silver Guardians, because they have like weapons and things like that to fight monsters. But eventually, like the Rangers like, okay, we got to go get the Megazord, and like Hayata is like, I have to go too, and then they're like, oh, or maybe the Megazord isn't working or it's knocked down, and then all of a sudden, poof, here's Ultraman ready to fight Goldar, and I just love the idea of Ultraman, like I don't need a Megazord. Here I go, like I just think it'd be a fun dynamic that works that way, where they kind of would be more powerful than him as just like a soldier in the Science Patrol, but then when it came time to fight the big guys, he's like got him outclassed. So,
2 that I thought of that just work on theme: Guardians of the Lost Galaxy.
What is that?
Lost Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my
I think that would be cool.
Then just Power Rangers Lost in Space? I mean, really?
That's why Lost Galaxy instead of In Space if you're going with a space theme?
Because I feel like In Space, even though they're not like in the dark reaches of space, they're mostly on Earth. Like they stay in the ship and then go to Earth and then go to Eltar like one time. Whereas Lost Galaxy on Terra Venture is way the heck far away. And like part of it is we are nowhere near Earth. Like the only team up we have is with In Space because they came out to us. And that's why, like, they're kind of far away. Guardians are obviously not near Earth, so I think that would be...
that makes sense. I don't... it makes sense. I don't know that the team up would be that super... Like you made a good logical team up, but I'm not thinking, like, oh, I'd love to see those characters interact with each other. I'm kind of like, all right. I liked your first answer better.
And then the other one I thought of, just to cap it all off, was I was trying to think of a good... like from either Marvel Comics or DC Comics or even Image, who could work with Time Force, and I couldn't think of anything.
Exiles, maybe?
Yeah, that would be cool.
There you go.
Oh,
that's a book you like more than me, too, so that's funny.
I know, and it's funny. I just had it in front of me.
Exiles are traveling through dimensions all the time. That's what made me think of it, for those that don't know.
Yeah, Exiles is essentially like X-Men Doctor Who.
Yeah. I want to catch up on chat real quick. Matt Kendall Clare, going back to, says, I agree the Dino Stegazord, the white Zord, is cooler than Thundersaurus Megazord from Dino Thunder. Iron Cenas P-Man said, if they made a Megazord fighting game, I will say I would like to see the main Dino Thunder Megazord, as it would be probably the most unique. That's true. And Iron Cenas also says, my dream crossover, Time Force and Doctor Who, 11th Doctor. And Star Trek: The Next Generation will never happen, but I would love to see it happen. It's funny because Star Trek has crossed over with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And Star Trek's also crossed over with like Green Lantern and Transformers. It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. But yeah, Doctor Who 11. So I guess specifically that's your favorite Doctor is what I'm guessing based on that. And then Iron SP Man says Mighty Morphin and crossover with G1 Transformers. I cross anything over with Transformers and I'm in. I'll say that.
Sure.
And then Matt Kenneclair Gotchaman was once called Eagle Riders. Thank you. That was the other name I couldn't remember. I knew it had something to do with the bird thing. And actually, on that note, I'll bring up a photo or a bunch of photos. This is Battle of the Planets, Gotchaman, Eagle Riders.
Yeah.
So you can see it's very Sentai. There's an Alex Ross cover, some of the more modern stuff. So it's from the 60s or 70s, but it's been redone several times. And their civilian outfits kind of remind me of the Voltron civilian outfits.
Hang on one sec.
What's the matter? Okay, well, you're not on the screen, so it's fine. And then here you can see this is like one of the main villains. Could easily be a Power Rangers villain. So a good pick there. Let's see. Iron Sea Fan says the company that made the DW and Star Trek lost the right. Doctor Who. The Doctor Who and Star Trek lost Doctor Who rights. And then Iron Sea Fan also said it inspired Jetman. Oh, so Gotchaman Battle of the Planets inspired Jetman, which is funny because I said if you look at Jetman, it reminds me of, and there you go. That makes perfect sense. I guess. Oh, Steve, did you have a non-Mighty Morphin one you wanted to throw out, or are you good?
After Battle of the Planets, I think
It's gonna be hard to top that.
yeah.
The only other one I thought of was I wanted to cross somebody over with G.I. Joe. I didn't think Mighty Morphin would work, but maybe like a Lightspeed Rescue or
Lightspeed would totally work.
And I haven't seen SPD, but I know it's more of like a police themed one, but like something paramilitary. And I like the idea that they're like because G.I. Joe is sort of like high tech, like fake military, and Power Rangers is like superheroes, but those ones are almost high tech military. So I feel like there's a crossover area there where a fun story could be told, maybe.
Actually, Lightspeed might work better with a mask.
Maybe, but I didn't want to see a mask crossover. I wanted to see a G.I. Joe crossover.
I know. I'm saying. Here's why you're wrong, Gaz.
No.
Here's why I'm going to crush your
it is a weaker one. You're right. Just like your second one was weak. Basically, we should have done what Steve did and stuck with our first one that was strong. We both came up with weak second ones, so we're fools. Ninja Steel point to Steve.
Yep, you win that round.
Okay, so we're getting kind of close to the end. Do either of you guys have anything you want to throw out? Like, do it now because we're running out of time. So don't hold back if you got something you want to say or talk about.
Kind of on the theme of the list that you pulled up earlier, are there any shows or movies with Ranger actors in it that you recommend if you want to kind of somebody kind of use their acting chops in a different light? Like I know Steve had thrown out Cabin in the Woods. We brought up iZombie. Any shows or movies like that you guys would recommend?
I mean, those would be the first two I'd recommend, to be honest, because I love that movie and I liked iZombie and I liked both of them as Rangers.
Oh, you're cutting in and out, Gaz.
Oh, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Oh, good. Basically, I'm just saying that those two examples you gave, that was basically my answer because I liked them as Rangers, and then I loved that movie, and I liked iZombie. I didn't actually finish iZombie. No, that's not anything against the show. It's just like streaming services changed and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing Eka Darville in Jessica Jones, he plays a very, very different character.
Yep.
I don't know, Steve, you got anything?
Other than that, not off the top of my head, although I thought someone was on Supernatural for a little bit, and I'm trying to remember who that was.
We'll try to look it up while Big Dog gives his answer.
I know I said it earlier. The first thing I thought of was Scorpion King 2, but that's not my final answer.
For Michael Capon.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys named those. I'm trying to think if there's another one outside.
Oh, was it somebody from SPD that was on Supernatural?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, because again, I haven't seen it, so I'm not very helpful. But it looks like a blonde girl.
Yes.
Oh, maybe SPD Pink.
Yes, that's who it is. SPD Pink was on Supernatural.
Did it say which season?
No, not. I mean, I'm sure you can find it, but not what I'm looking at right now.
I didn't know if you could tell by context clues. Thought I'd ask.
No, it's a picture of her in a cabin, which could be almost any season of that show.
There we go.
Yeah, I imagine there's a monster nearby.
From the little bit I saw in Flashpoint, I haven't watched many episodes, but that was cool to see Amy Jo Johnson in a different role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, that's not gonna help. Okay, real quick in chat, Iron Seas Puma said, his favorite Doctor is 10, not 11. He just thinks 11 is better for crossovers. Oh,
Fair.
fair enough. My favorite Doctor is 10 as well. So anything that makes 10 your favorite, I agree with. All right, so then, well, Big Dog got his last say. Steve, you wanna throw something else out there?
I'm resting on my Battle of the Planets. Then I think
Okay.
I'm quite a while.
Okay. Well, not Power Rangers related. I was just gonna say, other than Power Rangers, are there any shows, new or old, that you're watching that you want to maybe throw out, recommend that you're enjoying that maybe other people might want to check out?
I haven't started the new season yet, but Altered Carbon on Netflix. I
Okay.
loved season 1. Season 2 just started. I haven't got into it yet, but that's the one
I
would
did
throw
not
out.
know season 2 came out. I will be watching that with you. You can throw out more if you want.
I actually enjoyed HBO's series of Watchmen.
Oh,
I think they
okay.
I
did a
haven't finished
really
yet.
good job on it. I think I mean, it's well after the comic
Right.
Yeah.
and the movie. They kind of crossed it over a little bit. I
Mhm.
loved. I don't want to spoil
Okay,
it.
it's
So
good.
Yeah. Spoiler free.
there
Yeah.
is
I've heard
a
good
couple
things.
of
As much as
amazing directions they went in that make you kind of go, "What?"
Gotcha. I'm torn because I like inherently don't want to watch it and like it. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be good. Why are you gonna continue watching it? But I've heard
Yeah.
several people say it's good, so I'm like,
Yes.
oh,
It really is. It really
fair,
is.
fair. What about you, Big Dog? You
Yeah.
got anything?
The first thing that came to mind is since getting Disney Plus, my fiance and I have been watching Boy Meets World, and that show still holds up.
The one from the '90s, the original version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like there have been maybe 1 or 2 episodes where the jokes were like very dated, but
Mhm.
everything else, like most of the slang, most of the situations are still like really good, and it doesn't feel dated at all, other than the hairstyles and the fashion. But
Okay.
we've been really enjoying that, watching that before bed. In terms of new shows that like I haven't seen kind of most of, if at all. With the last season of Clone Wars out, I've been trying to get back into Clone Wars. I didn't get
Mm.
super far. It's one that I want to do that way. I'm trying to
Yeah.
go chronologically where I do Clone Wars, then Rebels, then Resistance, but like
Mhm.
we'll
I
see how
I've
that
talked
song
about
and
this.
dance
I don't know if I've
goes.
talked about it on the show. I love Rebels. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like in the middle of season 3. I love Rebels. I could not get through season 1 of Clone Wars. So it's like
Hmm.
it's tough. And I haven't watched Resistance at
Yeah.
all yet. But everybody says Clone Wars gets better, but I don't know. It's I watched season 1 and it was so tough. And Rebels episode 1, I'm like, I'm in. This is great. So it's like but I am in the minority. Most people think Clone Wars is great, especially because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Clone Wars, well, Resistance I haven't watched because I haven't got to it yet, but Clone Wars is the
Yeah.
only Star Wars thing that I have not watched of anything. You know what I mean? Like, so I should, but
You've watched the Christmas episode?
yeah, multiple times. Multiple times. I've watched it without the commentary, and I've watched it with the Riff Tracks commentary, both versions. I could tell you what commercials are in it. My favorite is there's one for Tobor, the robot. Tobor is robot spelled backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one for the unions. There's one for I mean, forget it. I know it backwards and forwards.
Are there cheddar goblins?
No, there aren't cheddar goblins.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any
That's the
others,
best
Big Dog?
commercial I can. Obviously, Gazbot and I are big Supernatural fans. I'm about a season behind. I'm on 14 out of 15. And it's one where like I just have to buckle down and power through season 14 so I can catch up. Because the biggest thing that I like am scared of is that I'm gonna be too far behind
Right.
and get spoiled real bad. And like especially with it being the last season,
And
I
it's
don't want that to
it's been
happen.
on for over a decade, and you don't want the last episode
It's
to be
been
spoiled.
a decade and a half.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah. You thought Avengers Endgame was a build up. Forget about it.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Those would be my top 2. I would say, or top 3, I guess.
Right.
I would say for animated, Clone Wars. I'm trying to get back into
Mhm.
Supernatural if you're looking for a little more mature, and then Boy Meets World for literally everybody.
Nice. That's a good spread.
Yeah.
I actually was going to recommend Doctor Who. It's funny that he came up so much, or she, I should say, because Doctor Who is currently a woman.
They.
They, sure. Well, no, she goes by she because she's a woman currently.
Okay.
Jodie Whittaker is the current Doctor, and her first season, I forget the actual number, it was like 12 or whatever, but her first season last year was not good. And I think a lot of people dropped off. I like her as an actor. I like her companions. But it was one of the worst seasons of Doctor Who I'd ever seen. It didn't connect to the old episodes. There wasn't a really good overarching story. It was very kind of basic. It was like it felt like this was the first season of Doctor Who ever, which I understand they like kind of relaunch things and let people get on board with the new Doctor, but they went way overboard and it was kind of boring. And I love Doctor Who.
That's how I felt about 9.
Chris Eccleston?
The first like 3/4 of that season were just awful.
I mean, that was a reboot from having not made a Doctor Who in over 10 years. So I give him a little bit more of a pass on that. Whereas this is picking up from having done successful seasons.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
But his season, I like a million times better than her first season. That being said, I am recommending if you fell off or you heard bad things, her second season turns it all around. Has some really great stuff. It does everything the first one didn't. It gets more complicated, has fun one-off episodes. It brings back characters you want to see from other seasons and has a good overarching storyline. And I just watched the finale, and it has a huge cliffhanger, and I'm dying to see the next season. The first season, I was like, I hope this changes. Now, end of the second season, I can't wait for season 3. So that's my
What I was going to say is, if for somebody to jump in, I know that you're mostly a completionist. Would you say just to watch like the first or second episode of her first season and then just jump to season 2, or is there too much you're going to?
Well, I'm a completionist where I am incapable of doing that. I watch everything, which is why I haven't watched Clone Wars, because people say skip to season 2 or 3, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
If you are the type of person that can do it, I guess you could watch the first episode and then go ahead, but why? Like if you're the type of person that skips things, I mean, I guess watch the first episode of season 1 and you'll be like, okay, and then go to season 2, I guess. But if you're willing to skip things, just skip it, like it's night and day. It's really night and day. So that's my main one, mainly because I know a lot of people got off the show because of that season, and I understand why. The other one I was going to throw out is an older show that's still on, but I've been rewatching for the second time, is comedy, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Makes me laugh. It's very raunchy. It's not for everybody. It's very adult humor, but it's one of the few comedies that I've watched all the way through more than once, and every time I enjoy it. And it's still currently on, but like Supernatural's on season like 14 or 15 or something like that. And then my other one would be, and this is going to be a weird one, Star Trek on CBS. But not Picard, Discovery. I love Star Trek. I love Next Generation. It's the one I grew up on. I love Patrick Stewart. I love Picard. I haven't been loving the show Picard. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
I'm just not excited for it. It's kind of like, it's like, and Discovery, I was not particularly interested in because I had no vested interest in it other than it's Star Trek. And it started off great, but it has great production values, great acting, great stories. And by the end of season 1, like a couple problems I had with it, they resolved perfectly. And I'm way more excited for the next season of Discovery to come back than I am for the next episode of Picard, which is crazy to me, being that I'm such a big Next Generation fan. But
yeah, if somebody asked you 4 years ago,
kind
of the situation, you'd be like, oh,
definitely not. But that's where we're at. So Discovery, Doctor Who, and It's Always Sunny. Those are my 3 recommendations. In chat, let's see. Erzuki. Oh, wait, I missed a lot. Sorry. Oh, we missed a lot of chat. Big Dog, you're not helping me out at all. Oh, so Dolly Girl jumped on. She says, hello. And then, oh, wait. Oh, Iron Sea Spirit said, a Kamen Rider is coming to America tomorrow, I believe the first one. I've heard things about that too, that there's some official release of Kamen Rider coming to America, which is awesome. Dolly Girl says hi. Erzuki says, teen shenanigans are timeless, referring to, I think, your Teen Titans crossover. Matt Kendall Clare says, Alicia Perrott, I'm so good at names, was in season 2 of Supernatural. So that's the SPD actress, I believe. Dolly Girl, Cheddar Goblin, LOL, and then Dolly Girl, Jared Padalecki's wife, who is from Supernatural. Wife's brother got married at the hotel I work at. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, very cool.
And then Erzuki says, going from Doctor Who, yeah, but they is a good catch-all to refer to Doctor Who overall as an entity that changes gender. That is true. All right, you get a Ninja Steel. I'll give you a Ninja Steel for that one. Ninja Steel. Dolly Girl loves David Tennant, as do I. Iron Senior fan said, I thought this most recent season, I think it too American, despite the fact that it is funded by British taxpayers of Doctor Who. As an American, I find it hard to know what that means exactly. But I did like it, so maybe it's because it's American. But I have liked every season of. I mean, the classic stuff. Some is better than others, and it's hard, But of all the new Who, I've liked all of it in general. Some I like more than others, with the exception of the first season of Jodie Whittaker. So if this new season is more American, but like other seasons must have been somewhat American too, then I don't know. I'm not sure how to respond to that. I guess what I'm saying. I'm not offended. I just don't know what that means.
I think the way they're referring it is kind of like how we've referred to the new Godzilla movies. The first one is very American. The second one is a Japanese movie made by Americans.
That makes me sad then, because that means that this season of Doctor Who is not very good. Well, I guess Iron CSP Man, did you prefer Jodie Whittaker's first season to the second season? Because if you did, then that's a huge divide that maybe is US versus UK. I don't know.
Yeah.
They said like it trying to cater to the Americans over the British, despite the fact that it's funded. But I don't think they should be catering to Americans over British. But I do think that first season was boring and ham-fisted and didn't take any, like, there was a couple nice moments, but overall it was just. And I'm comparing it not to American TV or to Star Trek, but to all the other Doctor Who I had seen. And I've seen all the new Who and a good chunk of classic. Let's see.
You who have seen Doctor Who.
What?
I tried to do a pun.
That was terrible. That was terrible. Okay. I'm going back to chat where things make sense. Iron Cena's Payman says, yes, I prefer season 1. That is nuts. Wow, you're the only person I've ever heard say that. Now, granted, I live in America, so maybe this is a British versus American divide.
Gazbot arguing with someone that isn't me.
I'm not arguing. I'm disagreeing, but I'm not trying to convince them.
Iron Sea and Despina said you're wrong, and they're willing to fight you over comments. This kind of point counterpoint table tennis style.
I don't want to get into a fight with Iron Sea Man. He would probably win.
Iron Cena's P-Man is in the land of Doctor Who. If anybody is going to give me an opinion on Doctor Who, I'm going to listen to them over you because you clearly don't know what you're talking about if they're openly disagreeing with you about it, guys.
You did curse there, which I didn't like, but otherwise, that is a good point. But I mean, that's like saying because I'm an American, I have the end-all be-all opinion on Spider-Man. Somebody from Germany can't have a more informed opinion on Spider-Man than me. I don't think that's true. Like I said, I haven't seen all Doctor Who, but I've seen all New Who multiple times some of those seasons, and a really good chunk of Classic Who. I've read some of the comics. I got a bunch of the toys. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm not just like, well, I watched,
I'm poking fun at you, clearly.
I know, but I'm trying to not argue opinions with him and trying to tell him he's wrong. But to say that I'm wrong,
if somebody's going to be wrong in here, I'm going to go with you. But we'll see how it. We'll see how it shakes out.
How is a fight with him becoming a fight with you? I don't even have a fight with him, and I'm fighting with you.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, it's true. RC and his P-Man and I are buddies now.
You're lucky Steve's between us. I can't get to you. He's All right, getting back to chat real quick, because we got to wrap up. Matt Kendall says there's a Pluto TV network they're launching tonight called Toku Shoutsu. Oh, it'll have Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. Oh, so I'm imagining that is affiliated with Shout Factory, who's been putting out the Sentai. So Toku Shoutsu. That is clever. I like it. Ultraman as well. Thank you for that.
I think Jason Narvi is associated with that because I saw him post something about Shout Factory either today or yesterday.
Interesting.
And I didn't know what to make of it, but now this actually all ties together and makes sense.
That's really interesting considering he plays a character that has no Japanese counterpart in his respective season.
But he's so charismatic. So if you're going to have
and very good looking. People have told me I look like him. Anyway, what were you saying?
If you were to have a factory called Shout Factory, yes. I think he is very good at that.
Yeah,
Steve can weigh in on this with personal experience, but I'm just going off of what I've.
Yeah. No, is he a loud fellow?
Yes.
Okay, well there you go.
We go.
Straight from the mayor's mouth.
Yes.
Dolly Girl says, I really want to watch the Japanese anime of Supernatural. Did not know that existed. That is interesting to me now. Iron Cena's P-Man, still not my favorite, but I'm not a fan of the lead writer. He doesn't really get sci-fi. I agree. Talking about Doctor Who. Matt Kendall Alicia Perrott is SPD Pink. That's correct. Okay. Iron Sea SP Man. I prefer the Jerry Anderson British sci-fi over Doctor Who sci-fi. Anyway, I recognize the name Jerry Anderson. I'm not sure what series they do. The only other sci-fi British stuff I've watched is Red Dwarf, which is comedy, so that probably doesn't count. And a little bit of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but that's also comedy. Dolly Girl says, my dad watched the classics, Doctor Who, and when the show restarted, it helped us bond. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. Matt Claire says, correct. Iron Sea Jason Arvey is doing a talk show about Toku. I am interested in that. Dolly Girl talking about things I'm not going to repeat. Dolly Girl saying, random to get in this episode. I got no joke. Yeah, I'm not dignifying that. I'm not dignifying that, Dolly Girl.
I think just so I think Gazbot's having trouble seeing it load on his screen. She did bring up.
What was that? Your
that's what
mic
it
muted out for a second there. Could you say that again?
Mari correctly.
It just isn't working.
That actually brings up something I wanted to throw back to you guys.
Yeah.
This is the last Twitch episode.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Yes.
I want from each of you guys your highlight or highlights of doing the Twitch show.
Okay.
I think
I'll let Gazbot start.
My highlight of doing the Twitch show is the overwhelming support that the chat, the followers, and the people talking in chat have given to Big Dog and his love for Operation Overdrive. Every time it comes up, they're quick to point it out that it's his favorite. Whenever he talks about it, they're always there with a helping hand. So that's my favorite part of having done the Twitch show.
I honestly thought you were going a really sentimental route, and then the sex ed.
I am being sentimental.
To me, I think, and this goes back to one of I love that we now have recurring jokes in the Action Activate community because of the Twitch show of just random stuff that Gazbot and I have said. My favorite episode, not like, obviously I love so many of the episodes, but the one that sticks in my mind of like the most inside jokes and the most just off the wall was us reviewing the Kamen Rider or the Masked Rider cross.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Exactly.
That was the beginning of everybody seeing how nutty we are.
Yeah. Hey, silence, man. Words have no meaning.
Words have no meaning.
I agree. That is an episode too, where if anybody ever asks me what's a good one to check out, I usually will point them towards that one. I feel like that has a lot of
I've had coworkers only watch that and swear like I bring it up kind of as a joke, like, oh, are you gonna tune into the stream tonight? They're like, oh, are you going over Masked Rider? Sorry, I can't do it then. So they promised if we do any Masked Rider reviews during hiatus, they will watch just because I brought it.
Well, we'll see what happens.
That's a whole viewer, just so you know. One whole viewer that we're riding on.
Well, that was a good question, Steve. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, to close out chat, Matt Claire said, oh yeah, Jason Narvey did the voice of the Masked Rider Bike. That is a good point, and that is a character that was in the, not Sentai, but Japanese footage. And actually, I think I mentioned it in that episode we did, so I should have remembered that. Iron Scene SP Man said Jerry Anderson. Oh, Jerry Anderson does Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, all that like Stingray, which is like the Mariamation. It's like puppets basically, but like more sophisticated.
Like Team America. But
yes.
Rude.
There's certain like Marianimation. It's like I'm getting the name wrong, but it's like animation mixed with puppet. I appreciate them for the artistry, but as a kid, they creeped me out, so I kind of can't watch them and enjoy them in that way. Dolly Girl says, and then Iron Sea Fan, silence. Words have no meaning on a planet under the Cape of War. Super Marionation, that is it. Thank you very much. And with that, thank you. I'm also going to thank our guest, Steve, because we're going to have to wrap this up now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys again for having me.
Oh, awesome. No, it was a good way to bookend it and have a little going away party for the Twitch stream. But of course, we will still be on YouTube. We're going to put this up on YouTube tomorrow, and then we're going to still have the reviews and the news and everything else. Steve might be on again. Feel free to come watch us there. You could leave comments. We'll try to respond to them either in the comment section, or if it's a good enough question, we'll address it on air. And I don't know, Steve, anything you want to direct people towards or tell anybody about for yourself?
Unfortunately not. I haven't been able to progress where I'd like to do a couple things, but once I get to that point, I will put it out on all my social media.
Okay. Yeah, and any shows coming up that you could tell us about, or not right now?
Unfortunately not right now. I'm still working on getting a definite yes, you're coming to Power Morphicon. That's the big one, of course.
So if you
Other
were
than that,
if you were
nothing else.
going to be at a show, the most likely show to be at would be Power Morphin.
Power Morphin Con,
Gotcha.
sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, so follow
Gotcha.
Steve on what's your best social media to follow you on if they want to see if you're going to announce that.
Facebook, my Facebook is just Steve Andreno,
Mm-hmm.
Andreno,
Spelled right, like I
and
said.
and both my Twitter and Instagram are at Baboo Real.
There you go. So follow him on one of those, and you will get updates if he is going to do a show near you, and also just general loveliness from the man before you. All right. So, sorry. One last little chat. Dolly Girl, I'll miss this. Thank you guys so much, Big Dog. So glad I got to meet you while you're at Man and Gazbot's booth at MorphCon 2008. Thank you, Dolly Girl, and it
That
is
was
fun.
cool, yeah.
I hope
Thank you.
you'll follow us on YouTube. We're able to put them up sooner, and it's a little bit less stress on us, and hopefully we want you all to come with us. And
Yes.
if you can't, we understand, but we definitely want you all to come with us. And then Iron Supreme says, well, see you on YouTube. Well, thank you. That's exactly what I want to hear. So thank you to everyone live in chat that has been chatting with us. Thank you for everyone in chat that has been lurking. Thank you to you people watching on YouTube that now is our main home. So welcome to us, to you. And Iron CSPM man is, oh no, it's the name that I couldn't pronounce that he told me how to pronounce. Sierran Porter. Sierran Porter. There you go. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. It's not just you. I'm bad with names, as you can see. So, this has been Action Activate. I have been Gazebo, and with me, as always, my co-host has been Bedogadups.
Yep, Bedogadups.
And our lovely guest, Mr. Stovoch Andronotes, who played...
That's Mayor Stovoch Andreno.
Oh, Mayor. Yes, who played Baboo on Mighty Morphin, of course. And that is all. And...
To the power.
To the power.
See you guys later.
Cut.
Credits. All right. So now we've been talking over the credits a lot. I don't know why. I don't know.
When you find something that works, why mess it up and continue to mess it up?
Does it work? Does it work?
I want to say that people stay till the very end.
I have no idea. I've never seen. If you're watching this on YouTube,
I've listened in a couple times after when you guys are talking over the credits.
Okay.
Well, there you go. I did not know that. Nobody's ever mentioned it one way or the other. So.
Well,
all right.
If they do, I hope they put Mighty Morphin in parentheses to let us know in the comments that they listen to me say this.